Good morning. Happy Monday. I'm Kara Rucker. New York City's mayor pays the border a visit. China is revising its COVID death toll. But first, last week's saga of classified Biden documents only grew over the weekend. This is your daily rundown with Straight Arrow News, unbiased, straight facts. 6 new pages of classified documents were discovered over the weekend in President Biden's personal library of his Delaware home. A House committee led by Republicans has now asked the White House to provide a list of any visitors who have been to Biden's home and who might have had access to those documents, as the House ramps up investigation after investigation into Biden. A storyline sure to take up much of the news cycle again this week. Today has been declared a day of mourning in Nepal after a plane crashed into a river gorge on Sunday. Officials saying for the first time this morning, there are no survivors. Rescue crews have so far accounted for 69 victims of the 72 people on board. It's been a difficult mission to recover victims given the plane landing on a river that is nearly 1,000 feet deep. The black boxes from within the aircraft have been recovered and are reportedly in good condition, giving investigators hope in finding out how the plane went down. New York City Mayor Eric Adams was far from the Big Apple this weekend, paying the border city of El Paso, Texas, a visit, seeing firsthand the origin of the country's migrant crisis that has also ultimately landed on his doorstep. Mayor Eric Adams told El Paso officials he is pointing the finger at the federal government. He toured facilities at the border, talking to migrants and city leaders. The mayor says migrants showing up in his city could cost as much as $2 billion, a bill he wants President Biden to cover. 40,000 migrants have made their way to New York City within the past year, a fraction of an overall crisis spanning many cities in the U.S. China has constantly been scrutinized for a lack of transparency in its data on COVID deaths. Now, in its latest revision, China says 60,000 people have died from COVID in the past 35 days, making it the world's largest outbreak. The latest figure only represents people who have died since December 8th, near the beginning of its end to lockdowns under its zero COVID policy. Since the ease of COVID restrictions, several countries cast doubt over China implementing travel restrictions from the country as the World Health Organization predicted an outbreak. Still, officials say China is keeping quiet hundreds of thousands of more deaths related to COVID-19. The high-profile prisoner swap for the release of Brittany Griner sparked renewed interest in the Americans wrongfully detained not only in Russia but around the world. One American prisoner in Iran is demanding attention through a hunger strike. He has been considered wrongfully detained in Iran for 7 years now, asking President Biden in a letter to think of him and other detainees stuck in prisons overseas. He will go on a hunger strike for 7 days, each day representing 1 year of his life locked away in Iran. 200,000 supporters of equal rights and Martin Luther King Jr. singing "We Shall Overcome" during the March on Washington. Today is Martin Luther King Day, a day the country remembers and honors the life of one of civil rights' greatest leaders. This year will mark 60 years since the "I Have a Dream" speech that Martin Luther King Jr. delivered at the March on Washington, a legacy that still lives on today. These are your top headlines on this Monday morning. Thanks for watching the Daily Rundown with Straight Arrow News, your place for journalism without agenda. I'm Kara Rucker. Have a great day.